Rule number 8, and this is like the biggest one that I'm going to give you: learn how to learn. I've realized from the course and from our OnlyFans group, there are a lot of questions that get put into our kind of OnlyFans Telegram group that should very easily be solved with a simple Google search. And this made me realize that most people simply do not have an understanding of how to learn and how to gather information. I learned this through programming, in fact. For those of you who don't know, most programmers, in fact, pretty much all programmers, they do not retain the information up here. They have an understanding of code and how everything comes together, but there is just too much information through programming, too many different problems to solve, too many different things that kind of take place within programming that you simply cannot retain all of that information. And so you need to reference to things. And there's some very famous websites such as Stack Overflow, maybe many of you have heard of it, which is essentially an online directory almost of people who have frequently asked questions for programming. And it's a community where a developer will ask a question, they will put it on there, and then the community will go and answer them. Often the developer will get called an idiot and be told this has been answered 100 times before, but it works incredibly well. And the thing that you realize very quickly when you start learning programming is in almost every situation, particularly as a beginner, everyone has had the same problems that you have had. Everyone has been on that same journey. So if you're struggling on, how to write a function in JavaScript, if you literally just Google it, there's going to be someone who's had that issue before. Tens of thousands of people, in fact, who've had that issue before, and you can very easily find it and find the answer to your question. And so I learned that through programming, that the answer to all of my questions are available online. I just need to go and find it. But the same applies to everything else in life. Like, there are very, very few problems that you are dealing with currently as an individual that one of the 7 or 8 billion people on this planet hasn't dealt with before or hasn't had some experience in. And you can literally Google and find information on literally anything. So again, I don't mean for this to sound patronizing. I'm kind of in shock, or not even Google. You can read books on it, you can watch videos on it, you can listen to podcasts on it, you can listen to audiobooks on it. Whatever your preferred means of consuming content and information is, it is available to you. We live in a world where we are spoiled by information, and of course you have to through the wealth of information out there to find the true gems and the true valuable pieces of information. But that's like part of the game. But work on your ability to be able to learn and be able to acquire skills. So what I would always do is, whenever I had a problem in my business, and the way that I actually learned how to do most things that I do now, I essentially self-taught myself everything. But when I say self-taught, I mean I researched it online, understood how to do it, and developed it and applied it into my own life, into my own businesses, into my own experiences. And so one of the thing that I probably do mostly every single day isn't scrolling through Instagram, is Googling. Like, whenever a thought pops in my mind, an idea that I have, I will either write it down or I'm going to Google it to research more information on it. And most of my time is spent on acquiring more information based on the specific problems or the specific challenges, or mostly the specific problems I want to solve in my business and in my life. You can very easily learn from other people's experiences, which is exactly what you're doing now. I've documented some of the highlights and the key mistakes and lessons I have learned from in growing my businesses and my income to $250,000. And hopefully you have found this valuable. Maybe you've taken some notes. Maybe I've inspired you a little bit, or given you some ideas in things that you can apply in your own business. Maybe some of the mistakes that I made, and trust me, like, I've paid significantly for the mistakes that I made, both through lost income would be probably like the biggest one, and also stress, that hopefully you can learn from my mistakes, and maybe you notice that you're doing some of the things that I realized I did wrong, and you can